Alright guys, we're going to begin on page 122. Make sure that you're watching this video with your sound on. If you're at school, you want to watch it with your headphones on. So write the following number in expanded form. So this is my units period, my thousands, my millions, and this is my billions. So this is 3 billion. So that would be 3 times 1 billion. Remember, it's digit multiplied by the value of the place. Plus, I'm going to do it on the next line so I have enough room. This is a 7, and that 7 is in the 100 millions place. So 7 times 100 million. Here's a 6 plus 6. That 6 is in the 10 millions place, so it's going to be 6 times 10 million, and I'm just going to kind of peek over here, and that's okay. Plus, I can't forget that plus sign because it's the sum of the values. All these values added together equal this number here. Now, this is an 8. The 8 is in the millions place, so 8 multiplied by 1 million. Plus, now, what's my next digit? A 4. The 4 is in the 100,000s place, so it'll be 4 times 100,000 plus this digit here, which is a 1. The 1 is in the 10,000s place. And the 2, what place is that 2 in? It's in the thousands place. Now we have digits in the hundreds, tens, and ones place, but they're all zeros, so we don't need to do anything here. So this number is actually 3,768,412,000. Notice I say the digits in that period or that group, and then I say the name of that group or that period. So here I have 8,096 divided by 29. And it says to use partial quotients, but we're really focusing on traditional long division. So that's what we're going to do today. And we need to estimate first. So my estimate needs to be something that's easy to do in my head. I'm going to change this to 8,000. And 8 is a multiple of 2, so I'm going to change this 21 to 20. And I'm going to cross off my zeros evenly. I'm left with 2 zeros. So I'm going to add that into my quotient. Now I'm going to do the division. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So my answer is going to be close to 400. Now I love to use graph paper, as many of you know. I'm going to set up my work on my graph paper so that it's easier to keep track of my work. Remember, each digit gets its own box. And then I'm going to write down my code to help me remember, and that's dirty, monkeys, smell, bad, because we divide, we multiply, then we subtract, then we bring down, and we continue that cycle. So now I've got to think about how many 21s are in 8. Well, it's 0. Now, how many 21s are in 80? Oh, if this was 20, it would be an even 4. But 21 times 4 is 84. So now 21 times 3. And some of these you could maybe do in your head, but it's always good to check. So 21 times 3, oops, that's a 3. My brain was getting ahead of me. And 3 times 2 is 6. So my answer for 21 times 3 is 63. My 3 comes up here. Then I write the 63. Then I'm going to do some subtracting. 7. Need to regroup. 10 minus 3 is 7. 7 minus 6 is 1. And the 17, that's smaller than 21, so we're good to go. I subtract it. Now I need to bring down the 9. How many 21s are in 179? Well, I know 21 is close to 20. So 20 times what is close to 180? That's kind of close to 180. Well, 2 times 9 is 18. So 20 times 9 is 180. So 9 would be too much. Let's try 21 times 8. Even if you can do it in your head, it's always good to just write it out. 21 times 8 is 68. Add, so that works because that's less than 179, but pretty close. So my 8 goes up here because I divided. Then I multiply, which we did already, 168. Then I subtract. And then I bring down. How many 21s are in 116? So I have to think about 20 times what is close to 116. 20 times 5 is 100. And 20 times 6 is 120. So let's go with 21 times 5. I want to make sure I show my work always. Because it ensures that I get the correct answer. Okay, so now I'm going to divide, which would be 5. And then I multiplied and got 105. Now I subtract. And then I bring down. Once you have nothing to bring down, you're done. If you're not doing decimals. So I have, or even if you're doing decimals, sorry. I have 385 and my remainder is 11. I'm going to report that as a fraction. So my remainder becomes my numerator and my divisor becomes my denominator. So my answer needs to also be written in my book when I use scratch paper is 385 and 11 21s or 21sts. Alright, find the volume of the rectangular prism. It's just base times height, which is kind of nice sometimes when you only have one step. 24 times 3. All you're going to do is multiply that 24 and that 3. 4 times 3 is 12. Regroup the 1. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7. Rewrite the baby's weight in ounces only. Remember that 16 ounces is 1 pound. So I would need to multiply any pounds by 16 ounces because 1 pound is 16 ounces. Alright, Sadie, she was born at 5 pounds 11 ounces. How many ounces does she weigh now? I'm going to use my scratch paper and multiply that 16 by 5 because she was 5 pounds 11 ounces and the pounds are not in ounces yet. And I don't forget to regroup. 5 times 1 is 5 plus this 3 is 8. So the 5 pounds equals 80 ounces. But that's not done yet because she's also 11 ounces. I'm going to take that 11 ounces and add it to my 5 pounds to get 91. So she's 91 ounces. And when we convert this way, sometimes it's easier to allow for a comparison to really see how close in weight something is. Now Kevin, he weighed 8 pounds 9 ounces. I want to know how many ounces he weighed. So I'm going to take that 8 and multiply it by 16 because there is 16 ounces in 1 pound. So 128. So we can see that difference there. But he didn't just weigh 8 ounces, he also weighed 9 pounds. So I'm going to take, 9 ounces, sorry. I'm going to take that 9 ounces and add it to my 128 ounces. I'm going to regroup when I need to get 137 ounces. How much more did Kevin weigh than Sadie? So doing this conversion allows for that easier way to subtract. So I have 137 minus 91 ounces. We'll do that math. We will not forget to borrow when we're supposed to. That's like our biggest mistake we've been making lately, is forgetting to regroup when we need to. So the difference in the two babies is 46 ounces. All right, we're going to come on down here to number 5. Compare. So write greater than, less than, or equal to. 1 1/3 minus 2/3. Well, if I think about this, I have 1 and 1/3. But if I were to take out 2/3, that's going to make it less than 1. And I'm going to double check that in the back of my book. So here's 1 2/3. If I were to take away 2/3, here I go, 1, 2, I'd be right here at 2/3, which is less than 1. So this answer here is going to be less than 1. Okay, now I have 3 1/4 minus 1/8. Is that going to be greater, less than, or equal to 1? Here I'm going to find the common denominator between 4 and 8. Let's list them as multiples of 4. 4, 8, 12. Let's list the multiples of 8. 8, 16. What's common here? 8. So I'm going to keep 1/8 the same, and I'm going to find a common denominator for 3. Well, I have a common denominator for 3/4. But what I'm going to do with that is multiply it to get an equivalent fraction. 4 times 2 is 8. What we do to the denominator, we do to the numerator. 2 times 3 is 6. So what, if I were to substitute 3/4, I would substitute it with 3/6. So what is, not 3/6, oh my gosh, 6/8. So I'm going to take away 1/8 from 3/6, and I'm going to get 5/8. 5/8 is what to half? Well, half of an 8 is 4, so this has to be greater than half. Now here we have 8 and 12. I'm going to use my scratch paper here because I'm out of room. Those are not common denominators, so I need to find a common denominator for 8 and 12. So 8, 16, 24, 32. 12, 24, 36. I found a common denominator. It is 24. So both of those fractions need to be converted to equivalent fractions. We have 4/8 and 6/12. So 4/8 times what gives you denominator of 24? 8 times 3 is 24. So what I do to my denominator, I do to my numerator. 3 times 4 is 12. So 4/8 is the same as 12/24. Now what about 6/12? 6/12 times what gives you a denominator of 24? Well, I know that 12 times 2 is 24. What I do to the denominator, I do to the numerator. 6 times 2 is 12. Those are both equivalent to the same fraction. So even 4/8 and 6/12 are equivalent fractions. So 12/24 plus 12/24, is it what to half? Well, what's 12 plus 12? That's 24. So my numerator is 24 and my denominator stays the same. We don't add or subtract our denominators. Then I know if I had 24 pieces of pizza in a box and I did not give away any, I would still have one whole pizza. So these are equivalent fractions. All right, our last one. Matt has a dog walker. Matt has a job as a dog walker, He has 4 hours to walk 18 dogs. Which expression represents the amount of time he has that should be spent walking each dog? Select all that apply. Well, what's our stuff? What do we have? Well, we have 4 hours. And we're splitting that, we're sharing it with 18 dogs. So this would be the same as 18 divided by 4. Can we do that yet? Not quite. So what I would do here is I would check this box. Now let's write it as a fraction. My divisor is my denominator, and my dividend is my numerator. So he would have 4/18 of an hour, and 18 divided by 4 would give us the correct answer. Great job, everybody.